Today I just had to get off Twitter. So basically, today is International Men's Day, and in order to make it politically correct, we can't just celebrate men. It has to be about a particular thing. And male suicide, male cancer, and in some degrees, male sexual assault are the three chosen topics of this day to sort of get it under the radar, so it doesn't get cancelled. And personally, I don't really observe these kinds of days. I don't observe International Men's Day. I don't observe International Women's Day. My stance on these kinds of days, and there is a day for everything these days, if you believe Twitter, which I spend too much time on, I think. My stance on them is the same stance I have for St George's Day. I think that St George's Day should be celebrated. If the rest of the UK and all the countries around the world can have their little celebratory days, and I think the English should as well. But that being said, if St George's Day was a big thing, if it was as big as St Patrick's Day, I probably wouldn't celebrate it. But I think other people should. Last year on St George's Day, an American friend of mine at the time actually posted a tweet out wishing the English people a happy St George's Day. It wasn't the misconception of, to all my British friends. She actually made it about the English, and she used the right flag as well, and I was really flattered by that. But other than that, I wasn't really celebrating that day, and that's how I look at International Men's Day. It's something I think should be celebrated or observed, but I just wonder, why the messages around it can't be applicable all of the time. But of course, there's a lot of resentment to International Men's Day. To celebrate men is apparently to dismiss women or some shit, I don't know. And I came on, and instantly in my feed, before I'd even gotten anywhere else, a few tweets mocking male suicide, which, I'm not going to lie, that got to me. Not because it was male suicide, but because it's a very touchy subject for me. Plus I have a lot of experience with this kind of thing. But I also value human life. I don't really value my own life. I'm learning to, but right now I just don't value myself, but I value everybody else. I would take a bullet for a stranger if it came down to it. So I don't like life being dismissed so easily. I suppose the only way that the gendered thing comes into it is, I've got a nephew, 3 years old, and it's just disturbing to me that there are people out there who, because he's a boy, probably have him written off already. No matter what he does, he will always be expendable, and that gets to me, that disturbs me greatly. So I just had to get off Twitter. I couldn't give a fuck what experiences these people have had with men that have made them so bitter towards men. I couldn't give a shit. And I don't give a shit about this whole, this group here are more likely to suffer this, so that group over there never suffers at all. I hate that logic. So I saw these tweets, and I'm anti-censorship, so I didn't report them. I didn't expose these people. I didn't even block them. I don't even know if I was following them or if they were just retweeted by people that I was following. I'm just not that kind of person. I will defend the freedom of speech of people I disagree with, because if you don't, then you may as well just be signing your own freedom of speech away. So that's how I look at it. But I'm not going to lie, I was pretty freaked out and disturbed that just such a cavalier attitude is taken to life. So I stepped back, and eventually I sort of came back on. I went to the hashtag International Men's Day, which was trending actually, so I suppose that's something. And what I saw there wasn't really as bad as what I saw in the morning. I saw a few examples of what I saw in the morning, but a lot of it was this whole thing of men should talk more about their feelings. If men talk about their feelings, then male mental health problems will just vanish overnight. Or the one I really hate, because this always comes across as a shaming tactic. Real men talk about their feelings. It's funny because the whole point of that is, you know, forget male gender roles. You know, you don't have to be a macho man. You can be soft, you can be sensitive, you can talk about your feelings. It's basically, you know, saying fuck you gender roles, but it uses a gender role, you know, the whole real man thing, to get its point across. It's just very contradictory to me. But it all relies on this notion that men simply don't talk about their feelings because, well, they might look weak and women won't want to fuck them. It's a very narcissistic thing for women to assume. There's I made a whole YouTube video about this a month ago, I think, where I talk about why I think men have a difficulty opening up and why I think it's more than just, you know, macho pride. I might link it, or I might just let you guys go and look through my channel for it, but it's such a dismissive, I think it's a cop-out. I think it's just, you know, just talk more about your feelings and fuck off. You know, we're talking about other things here. We're not talking about men's issues here. That's how it comes across. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I was too disturbed to come on Twitter today. In 2017, I think it was November the 2nd, I discovered something called Equal Pay Day when it started trending on Twitter. And it's basically about the gender pay gap, which I don't think exists. I think women just choose to work less hours than men, simply because women have the luxury of more choice in that regard than men. Not to mention women are actually, in their 20s, are actually out earning their male equivalents. But Equal Pay Day is supposedly, the way it's been described to me, and I don't know what metric is being used here, but basically if women continue to work past November the 2nd, somehow they're working for free. I've never understood this logic. I've never understood the mathematics of it. I think it's all nonsense. But the hashtag Equal Pay Day is full to the brim of women lecturing men on how they earn more than them, including women in very high profile positions who are richer, 10 times wealthier than the men they're actually lecturing. There's a big push by women who work for the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, lecturing, you know, TV presenters on fantastic salaries, lecturing men who work minimum wage about how they are paid less because they're women. And instead of being sacked like us normal people would if we falsely accused our employers of a crime on social media, they were given pay rises. I don't know about you, but if someone can lie about something that's so blatantly false and have smart people believe them, I'd say that's privilege. That's the definition of privilege. If that's oppression, I'd like to be oppressed. But anyway, it was 2017, I was looking through this hashtag, and yeah, I'm no mathematician, I'm no economist, but even I know that this is all bollocks. And I'm looking through this, and I believe that stupidity is contagious. I felt all the more stupid for reading this. I feel more stupid. I feel like I've lost brain cells that I had 10 minutes ago just talking about it. But 2018 came along, and I realised, oh, it's Equal Pay Day. I can't be bothered with Twitter today if this is all that's going to be on there. So I avoided Twitter that day. You know, because I don't want to sit there watching, you know, women with bags of money lecturing men with very little money on their privilege, or women in female-dominated professions like teaching, nursing, the sex work industry, lecturing men on male-dominated industries. So I logged off and I stayed off Twitter all day, simply because I value brain cells. You know, I don't want to lose any of my brain cells. I don't really have that many to begin with. So I stayed off it that day. This year, I actually completely missed Equal Pay Day. I wonder if it's even a thing anymore. And I was really proud of that when I realised, wow, I've missed it. But then I log onto Twitter today and realise that International Men's Day has basically become another day where I just have to stay off social media because, quite frankly, some of the stuff I've read already today, and we're not even finished with the day, has fucking disturbed me. You know, and I would have the same reaction to some of the stuff I saw today if it was said about women on International Women's Day or any time of day. Like I say, I don't really support these days anyway. I don't really follow them, but the way that human life is viewed just disturbs me. Maybe I'm a hypocrite because I don't value my own life as much, but fucking hell. At least I have empathy for other people. And that's something that sets me aside from these pro-suicide, pro-rape. I use this term very loosely, but people